I call to order this meeting of the Berlin Cultural Council at 7:13 on February 11th, 2022, and pursuant to Governor Baker's order from sometime in 2020. This is being recorded on Zoom and it's not happening in person, and that's really more official than I care about right now. So first order of business, since Jess was so efficient to do our last 5-minute meetings minutes and send them like right after that, I figure we can approve those minutes. Do we have any discussion on those, or do we have a motion to accept the minutes from last meeting?
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
And I believe Deborah has is seconding there. Okay. So we'll bring that to a vote. Deborah, yes or no? Okay. Jess, yay or nay? Sandra.
Yes.
Okay. Karen,
Yes.
and I vote that we accept the minutes, so those are approved unanimously. So our major order of business is the request for I'm looking for modification on the grant for the hip hop dance thing. So they had originally been slated to do the cultural sensitivity training performance thing for the police about a year ago. That I think it was supposed to be last February or March, and it didn't happen, and we heard nothing. And then we had reached out to the chief, I believe, about that when we're looking to get our numbers in line, and that was when he was busy moving on. So that got kicked to the town administrator, and he had indicated not wanting an extension on that grant, and we had gone forward assuming that that was the end of it, and spending money from that. And so then, was it about a week and a half ago, got the, no, 2 weeks ago. Yes, that was on my birthday. Yeah, we got an email requesting modification to do a exercise in chairs dance program thing at quote unquote the seniors, or not seniors, at the nursing home, which we do not have a nursing home. So that kind of gives me the greater. Hold on, I run away. Someone speak. I was looking at a different screen for a moment. It sounded like.
Okay, can you hear me?
Oh, wait, so they want a chair exercise?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the email was request to change our project from hip hop around the world to hip hop and chair exercise for seniors. We'd like to present the dance chair class to seniors at the nursing home. That was the request, which it gives me kind of greater suspicion that the original grant to the police was not one they had sought out at all, and maybe had only said they wanted it because they thought it sounded good.
Check the box.
And we were, I think, all gravely suspicious of exactly how well it ticked that box to begin with. But I think regardless.
Is there anyone from town who is sponsoring them this time?
There's no additional information. but I haven't heard anything from seniors, and I think it's probably safe to assume that they considered the programs that they themselves had sought out as more important ways of spending money than they would consider this.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think even if this were a better worded request that detailed more of what it related to towns, that our approval for the grant to begin with had been that its connection to the police was integral to the nature of the grant, and so that we were less, it wasn't so much that we were trying to give a grant for the dancing, we were trying to give a grant for the police program. So it's awkward since we had assumed it was dealt with and had spent the money, but I don't think, if we suddenly had the money, that it's anything we would be wanting to approve, given there does not seem to be any real connection to what we are looking to have in town, or that's going to benefit anyone in town. And I'm just trying to imagine whether I just can't picture, at Northbrook Village or at a senior activity thing, this being something that the seniors in town would want to begin with.
Steve?
I'm
I personally find it
person-
offensive that they haven't even reached out to anyone in town to
Exactly.
find out who in town. I mean, we don't have a town nursing home. That would have taken them all of 2 minutes to figure out.
Yeah, and most every town has a council on aging. They did not reach out
Exactly.
to them. They did not reach out to the senior, to Judy and the seniors. So it is not upon us to make just because they ask, we do not have to give the exception.
Right.
Or the extension.
And it is very 11th hour. I guess they were technically within 1 year of when they could have requested, payment and such, but the fact that we had heard nothing from them, I think you pointed out to me, Deborah, there was nothing saying why they hadn't done their original program to begin with, no justification for that, no comment from anyone on that. And
Right, and they obviously didn't reach out to the police or to Margaret. It then became on Chief Galvin or Margaret to find out if there was never any communication until this 11th hour thing.
And
So,
it was supposed to be an online virtual program anyway, wasn't it? So it wasn't like
well,
they were told they couldn't come in. or
I
something.
think was going to be in person.
yeah, originally it was in
Oh,
person.
okay.
It was supposed to be last February. And then when
Okay.
everything got extended because of COVID, our letters didn't even go out until I think it was February 9th.
Oh, yeah,
So-
yeah.
Okay.
So this letter came in like a week before the year
Okay.
deadline for requesting reimbursement. So I don't even know about like the extension, anyway, I think I'd like to move that we deny the extension of the grant. I don't think we really have to discuss it much.
Okay.
If people want to talk more about it, that's fine. But I'm just going to move that we deny the extension of this grant for the various reasons cited, that they did not reach out to the town, that they did not make any connection to the town. And I think, MJ, in No, it just left my head, but it was something that you had said to me in the email when we were talking about it. Oh, well, it'll come back. It was in the email, read the email again. Oh,
Okay.
but it really didn't, I mean, we have supported the seniors for many other programs, and I don't mean we don't need another program for them, but we've always made sure that that our townspeople get fair amounts of the money for the different groups, and this would just be one more additional program.
Yeah.
them
Well, I mean,
hop-
in theory, when we considered this grant having been completed and redistributed the funds, you know, in some respect, the seniors got money out of that their programs got the full funding that they may not have gotten had we not had that money. So, okay, anyways, do we have a second for the motion? Okay, so I'll bring that to a vote. So Deborah, are you for denying? Okay, yeah,
denying the extension of the grant.
okay.
Or not, it wasn't an extension, was it? It was a
Modification.
yes, I'm voting. I mean, should I redo that? Ma-
I would say just say the word modification in the
Okay.
minutes as opposed to extension. So it would require an extension too, I suppose, so,
But yeah, the vote is to deny the modification.
yeah, okay. So Jess,
I vote to deny the modification.
Sandra,
I also vote to deny the modification. They don't even have a venue or individuals that are looking for it, so.
and Karen.
I deny the modification too.
And I also believe we should deny the modification. So that is unanimous. The modification is denied, and wish me luck that when I reach out to them, I did a few days after they emailed, I let them know that we would put this on our agenda because I felt like I should send a reply. But hopefully when I tell them no, it will not go to Greg Meyer check.
Okay.
Should be okay.
We've done this before.
Yeah.
We
Oh, I
will
mean, if
do
it
that.
goes that route, I'm happy to detail reasons why it is a no, but I'm gonna try to get away with saying as little as possible so as to not to be polite about it.
Well, honestly, they didn't do their due diligence as far as
Yeah.
secure an actual program, so
Yeah.
it's back in their lap.
Okay.
You're always welcome to apply next year.
Yeah. Which
They can reach out to the
will
seniors.
probably, you know, state something to that effect. Not that I necessarily would personally want to encourage their reapplication, but I think on a professional level.
Based on their descriptions, they'd probably be better off reaching out to the elementary school.
Yeah,
The elementary school grant was a hip hop thing that we,
Right. That's right.
which I was just gonna, MJ knows this because I've been in communication with him about it. Link did send in their reimbursement papers for that program, but our money isn't in the account yet. So I did send an email out to the new person who handles that. The woman who was doing it, who actually wrote it, she's no longer one of the officers. There's another woman in place. So I just sent her an email letting her know that we received it, but we can't process it until the state puts the money in the account. Okay, so you'll be hearing from me once the money comes into the account.
okay. So the only other item I put on the agenda was just that since Karen was leaving, you know, figured that would, you know, thank you for your time with us and wish you the best of luck. And obviously we need 5 members. We'll have to reach out at some point to find out like whether we get in trouble if we don't, like, since we're in the off season and we've had the grants, whether there'll be any problem, like if, you know, if we in theory didn't have another member for a few months, whether that would run into any problems with like the paperwork and stuff for, you know, whether it's just really necessary during grant season or whether they are, you know, concerned about that year round. I mean, obviously, we're gonna need to find someone else in town, so I also put it on the agenda just so, you know, anyone has a friend or neighbor who they think will might want to join, and, you know, I don't know.
I just thought I will put it to our community list too and see if anyone's interested in
Yeah.
replacing me. But thank you so much. It's been wonderful working with all of you. I'm sad to have to leave. So, you know, I look forward to seeing you around while I'm still in town.
Sorry
And
you're
the
having to
door is
leave.
always open.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think, I mean, I don't know, you know, come next year in our meetings, whether we'll, you know, want to continue with Friday nights or whether based on a new member, based on changes in anyone else's schedule, whether we might move to a different night. I know, of course, that's one thing too, that's kind of, you know, trying to think of someone like, I want someone who fits with the schedule we've been doing, but then like, if I get a different job or something, I'm thinking to myself, am I gonna want to do Friday nights? Am I gonna want to encourage a different day? But yeah, so just something to keep in mind. I mean, obviously, we can, you know, put something on, you know, Berlin Neighbors Connect and stuff as well, but I think, you know, if there's anyone we know that, you know, we already get along with and such, that always, you know, makes it easier, and also possibilities of, you know, keeping some mind towards, you know, if there's any way we can diversify our demographic. You know, I was particularly thinking to myself, you know, is there anyone, you know, say younger than me in town that's, you know, it seems we don't get a lot of younger people in town because they can't afford to move in. You know, most of them are, okay, they haven't left home, or, you know, like me, I got the family house, so I'm, you know, back in town. But, you know, given we have fewer younger people in town, that, you know, at some point those people will grow up and need to do, you know, be the selectman and, you know, all those other things. So getting someone's, you know, feet wet in you know, town affairs, or, you know, someone new to town, not younger, you know, just it's potentially an opportunity to get someone who isn't involved in things but maybe should be involved in things, you know. So things to keep in mind when you're chatting with friends and neighbors and want to stick them with more work.
I'm going to move that we adjourn the meeting because my dinner is ready.
Okay,
Okay,
I second that.
very good reason.
Okay,
Or I could just leave, but I just figured
okay, quick vote. Deborah, are you in favor of ending the meeting?
I am in
Yes.
favor.
Sandra,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
and I'm in favor of leaving the meeting too. The meeting is unanimously adjourned. Thank you for the half an hour